Award-winning gospel musician Ohemaa Mercy has sounded an alarm on the dire state of gospel events in the country and is urging corporate Ghana to come to the rescue. She likens the desperate situation to a sick person on life support machine, and that until corporate Ghana lends a helping hand. The only option might be to pull the plug, which will lead to the death of gospel events. Gospel Pia Uti, you. In a conversation with Graphic Showbiz on the sidelines of the official launch of this year's Tahila Experience, Ohemaa Mercy attributed their struggles to poor corporate sponsorship. She disclosed the lack of financial support from corporate bodies that was threatening to the survival of gospel events, which she believes plays a crucial role in promoting spiritual growth and moral values. The artist, known for such songs like Otemi Muedin Jesus and Wobeye Kese, said gospel artists face difficulty soliciting corporate backing for their events due to lack of understanding from companies that tended to perceive religion in a different light. Now, she says, for me, I think corporate institutions don't really understand the business of gospel music. Oftentimes, they believe they shouldn't meddle in religious activities. So it's not even about it being a Christian event. However, the situation is really dire because a lot goes into gospel, getting a good production for an event. And here is the case where we mostly struggle to get corporate sponsorship. Meanwhile, the few that are probably willing to come on board may not be able to do so because certain brands cannot be associated with God's business. That is what Ohemaa Mercy said this morning. Do we have Ohemaa on the line? Yes, my sweet sister is here.
Yes,
Ohemaa
I'm
Mercy.
here. Good
Oh, good
morning.
morning.
Good
Good.
morning.
How are you doing?
God is blessing me. God is keeping me. And we are in the season of Tahila experience. So you could see that everywhere it's about we are going to battle. So we are having the battle experience. And I'm happy the response is really good.
Great to hear
And
that.
I want to take this opportunity to greet everyone that is listening and then your panelists as well.
Great. Ohemaa, there's this headlines that we chanced on Graphic Showbiz, and we want to ask you, since we are getting closer to Tahila Experience, how true is it? How true is the publication, first and foremost, and how real is the struggle getting corporate sponsorship for events as a gospel artist?
I think um, I, I think when we're having the first lunch for Tahila Experience, I had a conversation with Graphic Showbiz. Some of the things that was written wasn't from Ohemaa Mercy. Probably he added to it. In the conversation, he was asking how I was able to manage Tahila Experience up till now. And I remember I told him that, number one, Tahila Experience was actually funded by Ohemaa Mercy Ministries.
Okay.
We had to do it ourselves for about 7 years consecutively, and then continuously. And then I think during 2021 till now that we had some companies recognizing the good grounds that we have created, that they came in to help. And I want to urge companies that we also have the platform that we can actually help them promote their products. In other words, one thing, I think some of the things that you wrote is true, that gospel events cannot be associated with other brands in terms of alcohol, and that doesn't go with our Christian rules.
Okay.
That was exactly what I said. Yes, but
Okay.
life support in India. I just a more life support in India. Guys,
Guys, all cancer.
but I actually made it emphatically that Tahila Experience has been funded by Ohemaa Mercy Ministries and other individuals that have really held us to, I think, for 7 years that we had. And then 2021, we had other companies like Telecel, Walmart, and other companies coming to help us till now.
Okay, so you've actually had periods in organization of the event that was solely the financial responsibility was on solely Ohemaa Mercy
It was.
and
It was.
Okay, but these days, I mean, with it being a brand, a household name, how easy or how hard is it for your outfit to secure sponsorship from corporate Ghana?
I think in as much as we go out there, we have marketing managers that go out there to solicit for sponsorship. We've had some of the comments that as for our company, we don't do religious activities.
Really?
We don't do religious sponsorship. And that's some of the companies that we've had conversation with that has actually come up with this statement.
Any reason to that?
I can't tell. Probably they have they are the right people that can actually come up with. And when my marketing manager comes around and makes that comment, I can't say anything because we move on. Cellular experience will still be on, whether companies or no companies will still have to do it because we believe in what do you call it? In the fact that cellular experience is winning souls. Cellular experience is doing a lot in the lives of people, and we believe that God will always help us. In as much as we struggle to do it,
okay,
God will always help us to do it.
Ohemaa, help me with this, right? In as much as you have the Ohemaa Mercy Ministries ready to fund the Tahila experience, you still need corporate Ghana's help to get it to the next level, or probably as it is to help make things better, right? Yes. Now you reach out to several businesses. First and foremost, there are several businesses. Once it's a gospel event, you would not even want to associate yourselves with. Now there are others that are, brands that you can have an association with, and they are saying they don't do religious event. Have you asked yourself and the team why they would say something like that?
I think for several years we asked them, and they said that is their company policy.
Okay.
That is their company rules. And when you get a response like that, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do when it is their policy and their rules that they work with.
But how do you feel about that?
I feel really bad and it's sad because gospel events are doing way, way better. And I think for all these years, gospel events pull a lot of people. And for me, it's one of the biggest platforms. And we have it annually. Every year you have lots of gospel events happening. And these are the platforms that Telecel will talk about. Other companies that have come on board to help us, especially with Tahila experience, my experience will say that they've gotten the mileage. So for me, I don't know the understanding, but probably as time goes on, they will get to understand that gospel music is the deal that when you associate with will actually give them the mileage to move.
Okay. Ohemaa, thanks a lot for sharing your time with us. And when can we have details again of the Tahila experience this year?
Tahila experience is coming on the 8th of September at exactly 4 p.m. And mostly when it is 12, the whole place is full. So wherever you are, it is free. We're giving you the opportunity to come and worship. And I believe you are next on the line to share testimony. So don't be left out with the 11th edition coming on the 8th of September at the Oil Dome, like Father Papa Sampranchi Anchorage Church, Royal House Chapel. Wherever you are, just come with your family. And this year is the family edition. And as we actually are entering into our election time, we actually praying to God that God will give us peace. as a nation to move on. So it's actually coming on the 8th of September at exactly 4 p.m. at the Oil Dome Royal House Chapel.
And who are the special guests or artists on board this year?
We have 2 artists coming from Nigeria, Ebuka and then Abe. And then I also have powerful ministers from Ghana, Nasi, PSA, Sisi Chum, Owa Regina, my own mother, Mama Esther. We have Uncle Ato, we have Emoji, we have Team Eternity, we have Kofi Pepra, and my sons and daughters, Ife Grace, Vivian Annan, Francis Amo, and the other great ministers that are coming on to help us grace this occasion.
Thank you so much, Ohemaa Mercy, for speaking with us this morning on Hitz FM.
I'm glad and I'm happy and I'm honored to be given this opportunity to clear the air.
We wish you all the best and hope to see you next week, Sunday, 8th, at the Oil Dome.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks a lot for joining us. And Ohemaa Mercy just clarified everything. She says on carry. Also on car, say it's on life support. On can, okay. But you people, are you?
Say at times you beat me, which me kasakana or the exact words you use. But I mean, the context of the interview is not what further elaborate on the context of the interview. So, I mean, even clearly, I mean, if you do the analogy, if shows like shows the likes of Emoji, Joe Mental among others are complaining about sponsorship, and then in Kolane Banoe now those who are now getting in, it will be more difficult for them. So that will, in a way, I mean, hamper the industry to some extent. So I don't think that.
So what kind of crank in every?
Of course.
No, but the thing is the life support part.
Yeah, I think is it a quote? If it's not a quote, I mean,
it is a quote.
Is it
according to what I have here? It's a quote.
Then it could be their word against her. I mean, and this time around, like if you have a certain recording of the interview you did, that is where it comes very handy. So that as a journalist, I mean, you can use those as evidence to be able to, I mean, clear yourself, or in terms of letting people know that your integrity is intact. You understand? So I don't think graphic showbiz will just quote somebody without the person uttering those words.
What are you trying to say?
I will be surprised. I'm being in the space and I mean having some good friends there. I'll be surprised they will do that. I mean, I understand how they really, I mean, play to professional integrity. So it will be very surprising. What if? That's why I'm saying it will be very surprising.
Now at 1,000 Ghana cedis. First draw has been done. Second draw coming up at exactly 9:55. So start playing 3 simple steps and then you're good to go. Step number 1 will ask you to select the radio station. Kwame B in minus. Relax. Step number 1 will ask you to select the radio station. And then that is number 5, it's Hitz FM. Prompt number 2 will ask you for the number of tickets that you wish to play. Now, a ticket is going for 5 Ghana cedis. Play as many as you can to increase your chances of winning the next 500 Ghana cedis. That is coming up at exactly 9:55. And then the last prompt will ask you to input your Momo PIN. So your PIN for MTN users and then also your PIN for Telecel users. So Telecel users, MTN users, you are in luck. If you're playing this morning, 55 past 9, we will get into it. Massive shouts going out to you, JK inside Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone Papa fee. Jake, Bredash is calling you, so answer. Thank you, Jesus. There's a way of saying Jesus, way be professional. Jesus. Listen to gospel music and stop talking. Why? You don't want to listen to gospel music?
Sunday, you no go church.
Sunday?
You no go church.
Were you with me? Were you with me on Sunday?
I wanted to send you to Rain House Chapel.
Okay. Is that where Empress worships?
No. I mean, she goes there to minister. I mean, when there are programs.
Okay.
That's Prophet Eric Boying's church.
Okay. I have Kwame Dadzi here. Ubeye Kese. Why? Yeah, I can say that.
Church boys.
Anyway,
Okay, so just say Oswan. I said
No, me say Ubeye Kese ne yen kan mankrofo be ye no ne kama yen.
anyway.
Ye no ne afa ne yenyi a ye ba. Yenya kese, yenya great.
Kwame,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing well.
I hope everything is cool.
Yes, I listened to Ohemaa Mercy's interview.
You enjoyed it?
Oh, I did. Into one casa, she didn't say that.
Yeah.
Please put it in context.
What
Not
context are you-
not exactly.
Yes.
Not verbatim.
Because no, the thing has been put in quote. No, the thing was
quotation.
put in quote.
And she didn't say it categorically.
She said that God. So this is the caption. This is
But
the
I was
headline.
listening when I was my own.
This is the headline: Gospel events on life support. The life support is a quote from Ohemaa Mercy.
Okay.
It's
In the
supposed.
story.
It's supposed to be a quote from Ohemaa Mercy.
But is it a quote in the story?
Is it?
It's a quote in the story as well. And I mean, who quotation.
I know. Or can or say on Kaiser or cancer.
No, it's
It's
not
different
even
from one.
okay. She made two statements here this morning. I think we have a recording. We can play it back.
Yeah.
We can play it back.
Yeah.
She said she did not say that, and she
Okay.
doesn't even remember.
If she
So
said
there are
that.
two things that she said this morning.
Okay. But all the same, it all boils down to the fact that gospel fraternity is crying for sponsorship. But I wonder why they are crying for sponsorship.
Why?
Because they've always told us it's not a money-making venture. It's not a business venture.
No, but then there's a business behind it. Of
But
course.
if you like, ask about 100 gospel artists right now and ask them if they are doing ministry or they are doing business. But the companies you are calling to come on board are business entities. They want their ROI, return on investment. So if you're asking somebody to come and put money into your venture, a venture you claim is ministry and is not supposed to bring money. You are not in it for money making. You are doing this because you are projecting the gospel or God's work.
Yeah.
Somebody might sit back and think that, okay, these are people who are doing their religious stuff. They might not even go the extra mile to plug my product in a certain way. For example, you mentioned to Ohemaa Mercy that there are some companies that might not even want to come on board because of what they sell, what they market. And even the gospel artists, we didn't want to plug, let's say, an alcoholic beverage
Into a
or
gospel.
maybe a condom brand.
Go on.
You get it. So, to me, there is no way the gospel music fraternity will have the same amount of investment that the secular world has. There is no way they will have the same, because we've been made to understand that one is ministry, the other is business.
Okay.
So, the only way out now is the churches to support these gospel musicians, if only they also believe that the gospel musicians are doing the work of God. They are helping propagate the gospel.
But then I see had Ebony Condoms as a sponsor of the show.
And did you listen to the backlash that came after that?
No, but with respect to condoms, I think we need to do a lot of education on it. Because it's also a form of birth control.
But some gospel musicians or some Christians
Why?
wouldn't even want to hear about that.
But
Why is Ninoy sending me messages this morning? I mean, Ninoy, what have I done wrong?
I
Should we
think-
call you? Should we
Yeah.
call you? Because
Let's
because
try
the
and
thing is that the gospel fraternity have always told us they are not money-making ventures or venture. They are not business venture. Gospel music is ministry. Why are you crying about investment and support and whatever?
Okay, so
From corporate Ghana. Corporate Ghana is in to get money back from what they are putting their
Okay,
money
so
into.
in their defense, I would like to play. I can't say the devil's advocate when they are talking about gospel music. It doesn't sit right well. In their defense, I will say that once they outsource,
Yeah.
or they pick logistics from other people who
They need support.
who might not be Christian
Yeah.
inclined or
Yeah.
Christians,
Yeah.
they will need some form of support.
As in charity support, as in
Yes.
benevolence, as in somebody
Be-
out of their own volition, giving money, not expecting anything in return.
Especially
Okay.
Tehila Experience, of which Ohemaa Mercy is organizing, and she believes they've been able to do that successfully for 11
Even
years.
Jometa has been saying
Yes.
most times he gets support from people,
Exactly.
donations, and all
Exactly.
that. So that is what they're talking about, but not necessarily companies putting in money expecting returns.
So Kwame, don't you think do you think it's a good situation that we have in the country right now, where gospel musicians every now and then they pop up to say that their events are mostly go dry when it comes to sponsorship? Do you think it's a good situation?
It's not a good situation, but who do we blame?
Who do you think we should blame?
We should blame what they stand for, and the orientation they've made people to believe represents who they are.
Hold on to that thought, and let me get Ninoy on the line. Ninoy is part of Table of Men, one leg of the Table of Men. Nino, how are you doing this morning?
Biggie or DJ Slim? I think it's better. It's better you just say Nino the gospel voter.
But the Table of Men is supposed to be an advocacy body for gospel music. Please.
For the purpose of this discussion, you know the event manager. Let's go on.
No, but why do you want to run away from the Table of Men?
I said you know the event manager.
No, but Nino, you are a part of the Table of Men. You have things on the table. If you leave the table as it stands right now, things will...
DJ Slim, why did you call me? Is it not because of Ohemaa Mercy?
Yes, but also because you are part of the Table of Men, that is a recognized body that advocates for gospel music. Or are you not a part of it again?
DJ, let's go on there. DJ Slim. The question number one, please.
Ninoy!
DJ Slim, or make I say Biggie. Let me go back to your own name.
Go back to my own name, Biggie. I like it. Nino, this morning we're having a conversation about Ohemaa Mercy's claim that gospel events are on live support. Do you agree?
Let me say good morning to your listeners and your panel members, especially Kwame Dazi, who in the last few weeks has not landed well with his thoughts when it comes to the gospel industry. Let me say good morning to him, and good morning to Adam, who is also part of the gospel space because he works with Empress Gifty, and he knows that this statement by Ohemaa is absolutely true. It's on live support because most of these events that we see around are being supported by the gospel artist and his team, and to a larger extent, some well wishers who provide some donations to help support these gospel events. So what Ohemaa is saying is 1,000,000% true. Yeah.
As she said this morning that she did not say like on live support, but then it means that there are issues with respect to gospel events and getting sponsorship, right?
Yeah, there are lots of issues with gospel events and getting sponsorship. I mean, for the past 4 or 5 years, a lot of them have come out to say categorically that they have issues with getting sponsorship. Joe has said it on his platform. I mean, from 2019, every time he's ending his event, he comes out to say that there's no sponsorship. The team and himself and some well-wishers help bring it up. So over the years, he said it. I think the person who can stick her neck out and say she has a headline sponsorship is Dinah Hamilton, who Awake has been supporting her for the past 2, 3, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Enterprise
yes,
has been supporting her. But aside that, most of the others who get sponsorship, they don't get even headline sponsorship. Some of them even, when the names and things are put on, getting some of the packages that are promised, it becomes a huge tax in retrieving those packages. So it's true. I mean, most of these events don't get sponsorship.
Nino, let me ask you, once you are in the gospel fraternity and also into events as well, what do you think is the cause of this?
I seriously think that first of all, we need to understand what our people want. Yes, I agree with Kwame Dazi when he says it's a ministry. Yes, it's a ministry. But it's the same companies who go to the churches, when they are having big conferences, to go and mount the activation stunts and want sales to be done at those conferences. So when you see big companies like, I don't want to mention names, but when you go to the big conferences like Greater Works and things, you see some of these companies who have mounted activation stands for people to come and buy. You understand? So they know that there's a target market within the Christian community. You understand? But if we go and ask you that, okay, for this target market that we are putting together, just come on board so that you can also sell your product to this target market or advertise your product to this target market. Then Kwame Dazi is trying to tell me that because it's ministry, so we shouldn't do that. I mean, it's not fair comment for me to say, because some of these things in the larger picture is the creative space and it's the creative economy. So whilst you're looking at building the economy, like, and he keeps saying, and he said it several times, most times on these other platforms, that we look at the music even before we look at all the other stuff. So if you're looking at the creative ability, and DJ Slim, you know that putting together a gospel event, the artist needs to put together a band, BVs, they need to go for several rehearsals and all of that, and at the end of the day, give you that craftsmanship. But for the other side, when you get a DJ, you're fine to go. So there are a lot of money is invested in putting together a gospel event. Look at what Empress Gifty did. It was not successful at the church he went. The next time, National Theatre, within a week, pulled it. Great success. And you are saying that we don't need money to put this, or we don't need companies to help us with this. I mean, we need them.
Okay, so Kwame is saying that he did not say that, so he wants to talk to you.
I'm very disappointed in Ninoy. As Christians, we don't lie. But this morning, Ninoy is lying on me.
Oh, why am I lying on you?
I never said they do not need money to do their work. What I said is that the reason they are struggling to get companies to sponsor them is because they have created the impression that they are ministry and not business. So I am adducing the reason to why they are where they are right now. And he is now misinterpreting this to mean that I'm saying the company should not come to help them. I didn't say that. I am saying we are giving reasons to why this is happening. I'm telling you that. It's because the gospel people, the people themselves have positioned themselves as ministry. Anytime you interview them, media, you see, it's that thing. So it's about time.
Is it in context?
But
okay, so hold on.
Wait, it's in a certain context.
It's about time. It's about time they make people understand that beyond the ministry, they are doing business.
Okay, Nino.
So that business entities will know these are business people. So let me go in there and invest in their work.
Kwame took
that and I said the M-Pesa because some of them charge
Nino, hold on.
Gospel people make it clear we are doing business so that people who are doing business will come and support you.
Nino, kindly respond.
Yeah. I think that Kwame is also not being fair to me. I mean, he also taking my points and he turned it around. You see, I'm taking a part of my comments that doesn't favor you. You're talking about it. When I was making my comments, you can go back and listen. I spoke about the ministry element and I spoke about activations that they do at conferences. And I came down to give points and all of that. So don't take the part that favors you and the part that does not favor you. And you come back
into the portion where you said I'm
not putting words into your mouth. I'm just going around your point and giving it back to you. I'm not putting words into your mouth.
Okay, but Nino, let me Nino, let me ask you this on the same point with Kwame Dazi, right? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that could also be a factor that is causing gospel musicians or gospel artists not having corporate sponsorship from corporate Ghana?
I don't believe it's a factor. I believe that there are a lot of factors, but I don't believe this is a factor. You see, if he's saying it's ministry or Christian music or gospel music have his base, and a lot of you know it's coming from the church. And the church is known for ministry. So if he's saying it's doing ministry, what's wrong with it?
Okay, so at a gospel event, Ninoy, are they doing ministry or business?
Oh, DJ Slim, you are going around the point again. They are doing ministry.
I'm asking a question.
Hold on. Let me finish. They are doing ministry, but they are working in an industry setup. So when I was working with Danny 10 years back, you say it's industry. You can't throw away the ministry and you can't throw away the industry. You need to marry both. because it's an environment of an industry you are working with. So you can't say that you are doing ministry 100%. You are doing ministry and you're doing industry. So you have to marry both. And on all these gospel artists, understand it. That is why.
So when
Ohemaa Mercy, hold on, let me land. That is why when Ohemaa Mercy is doing Tahila, Ohemaa Mercy comes to Hitz FM for interview. Hitz FM is a setup in the industry. When Ohemaa Mercy is doing Tahila, Ohemaa Mercy goes to a logistic company to contract them for trusses and all of that. It is an industry setup. So you can't say you are doing full ministry without the industry. The industry is part. So ministry and industry, you have to marry both to get the results you want to get.
So when you say industry, you are looking at the stakeholders or the players in the industry. That is what you're talking about.
The full industry.
But then these industries have a bedrock, and that bedrock is business. So one way or the other, you engage some businesses, or the business aspect of whatever ministry that you're doing is also at a certain level, at a certain percentage. Do you agree to that?
I don't get your question. You see,
okay, so the bedrock. Okay, whether you want to use the word industry or business, because I can see you are trying to shift from the business part of it. If there is a tag, let me ask you this: if there's a tag of business to whatever event gospel musicians are doing, do you think it's going to destroy it or change its perception?
No. It's not about putting a tag of business, changing its perspective and all of that. But this is it, DJ Slim. When you're running an NGO and you want to go and donate things to people, when you go to where you are going to buy we are going to get the things to donate, you don't go and stand there and say, you go source for funds to go buy the things to go and do your donation. So if I go to a company, I'm going to source for funds for a course of that data. You understand? It's just like an NGO setup, and that's what I've explained perfectly here. So if you are telling me that I can't do that because anytime I go for source of fund is business, that is not right.
Okay, Nino.
Yes, sir.
Hold on.
I'm holding you.
It's Kwame Dazi that I'm telling you to hold on. Let me pass Nino around a little bit for one or two questions, and then we can wrap up with him.
One leg of table of men.
The one leg of the table of men. He's saying that right now, Charlie. He's not at the table, so let's not discuss that. Adam, do you have a question for Nino?
I don't have a question for him. I don't have a question.
They are in this together.
They are in this together. Anyway, Nino, thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
They are in it together.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Nino, he's saying he's not one leg of the table of men, but anyway, we still see him as that way until he releases until he releases an official statement, because he was part of the table of men who properly activated last year's TGMA and also last 2 years.
Because now I left like 2. 95 to left, so like
I can't say anything.
Papa. Start 281 hash this morning. 31 minutes deep into 9. A few more minutes, and then we are in our second draw. So start playing 3 simple steps, and then you're good to go. Medical catch or say, our phone now, but start 281 hash. The first prompt you get on your phone is for you to select the radio station. Select Hitz FM at number 5. The next prompt will ask you for the number of tickets that you wish to buy. Buy as many as you can to increase your chances of winning at 5 Ghana cedis per ticket. And then the last prompt will ask you for your Momo pin. That is for Telecel and also MTA users. So start playing. Few more minutes for our second draw. We would like to get Mr. Robert Clark.
Me this I not talk.
You no talk.
Me I no talk.
Why you?
That was preamble.
I
was laying my preamble before Nino came in.
Okay, so let me get
maybe just 1 minute or 2 minutes.
No, let me get Adam to tell me. Okay, well, I have Robert on the line already, so let me talk to Robert.
Robert is on the line.
Yes,
not here.
Let me talk to Robert, and then after that, I hit Adam. You wait for him. Hold on, Mr. Robert Clark, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
And we have information that you're on your way to the studio. So let's do this real quick. Your take on the gospel music industry not receiving enough help from corporate Ghana.
I think for me, my experience is that 2 key things stand out. The first one is the fact that you usually have companies saying they have a policy that they don't do religious stuff. All right. However, because even though they don't do religious stuff, they end up still selling to people of religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so my issue has always been the fact that I think they are being a little, they are offering some form of disservice to themselves if they don't open up to the gospel fraternity or the gospel market. Because look at the statistics. Clearly, we know that majority of the folks in this country are Christians. Now, if you say you don't do gospel programs, but as the gospel programs, they are consuming what? Water. They are consuming non-alcoholic drinks. They use phones. So again, phone companies have an opportunity in that particular space. And go on and on. If it's traveling, they fly airlines. If it's clothes, they are purchasing clothes to clean up. They are wearing shoes, whatsoever. Like, it goes on and on and on. So I think it is an area that we need corporate Ghana to, for some of them, reevaluate their policies with respect to not supporting gospel-oriented projects. I think that if clearly you can see there's value in what you're doing, why don't you go for it? Because, you know, these programs are happening like constantly. And that is a clear, clean ground for you to be able to reach out to people. We have done a lot of activations for brands within the churches. Some are soaps, some are, name them. And you go and set up, and then you're selling because you want to engage, and sometimes they are fabric. And then the women are making purchases because, you know, we know clearly that when you go to these places, you can get them. The women's ministry, they go, they give us opportunity to talk and all of that. So it is clear, clean ground for companies to be able to make money. So for those of them saying that their policy does not permit them, maybe they need to review the policy because they are, as a matter of fact, offering some form of disservice to themselves, and they need to be able to open their eyes to it. Because look at there's a brand supporting PSA Esther. Is it a tissue, floral tissue?
Yes.
Obviously, yeah. Women always need tissue. Tissue everywhere, anywhere. And you can't say that, you know, she's not a good brand ambassador for that particular purpose. You understand? And the project they were part of it. There has to be value to it. You understand? So I think that people need to be able to open their eyes and reevaluate some of their policies and take advantage of that. Now, from the perspective of business, I can understand what Ninoy is saying. Is the truth that they are both into ministry and then they are also into the industry. But I would rather couch it this way: they are in an industry, but they are at the ministry component, and all of them still do need the necessary support, or there is a certain level of business engagement that you can have with their people, and we need to be able to look at that from that particular perspective. So let's not be too hard on Nino and Co. That's the truth. At the end of the day, even certain businesses that are not necessarily religious, some of them exist that they are not for profit. However, they are. It is required of them to be sustainable. And sustainability of any business organization simply means whatever goes in, whatever comes out, it has to even out for it to make sense so that it can continue happening. They may not be for profit, but the truth is it needs to be sustainable. So in terms of the support, it is necessary we need to be able to have companies reevaluate how they look at the gospel fraternity and be able to associate with product because there is real value in that particular space.
Okay. Robert, thanks a lot for joining us. But with what you said this morning, I'm tempted to believe that maybe the marketing for gospel events or the marketers that are pushing these events are not really doing a good sales pitch or a good pitch to get corporate Ghana to understand, you know, events like that on a certain level of patronage and return on investment. Because for a good for any company to come on board such an event, a gospel event with large numbers, they need to also understand their return on investment. And if you don't do a good sales pitch or a good pitch, there's no way they will come on board. Do you agree with me on that?
Oh, that is true because you see, whoever is selling must know how to sell, and whoever is procuring must know when not to lose out on a big opportunity. So the responsibility remains with the two parties. If you're selling, you must know how to sell. You must speak the right language. You must you must press the right buttons, speak to the right people, talk to the people who are making decisions, clearly show them how the benefit is going to be established, know how to, sell. And then whoever is in charge of procurement for any organization should also know when not to miss out on an opportunity that will give them clear return on investment. Once they have that, or once the two parties have this, I believe at the end of the day we should be fine.
Okay, Robert. Thanks a lot for joining us on the line. We want to see you in the studio. I beg. Make you come. We want to continue this. We want to continue this conversation. Adam, I hold your neck small, but forgive me.
He was done. He said he didn't have anything to
beg,
say.
Please, with respect to Nino.
So I will not talk today.
You will talk.
Okay.
Nino is on my text giving me backing vocals. That is exactly what I was saying.
He did lie. He didn't say that.
Say exactly my point. The companies do activations at the church, but when you go to them for sponsorship, they say they won't support. That is what Nino is saying. Anyway, Adam, the floor is yours for the next 5 minutes. Fire.
Thank you very much, sir. I think a lot has been happening in the sponsorship space, and this problem is not only limited to gospel industry. I mean, the secular is going through the same, but it seems the gospel is the hardest hit. If you look at the issue of sponsorship itself, what is sponsorship? Sponsorship itself is an IMC strategy. That's integrated marketing communication strategy, and that integrated marketing communication strategy gives a company an opportunity to be able to leverage on the reach, the reputation of a brand and others to be able to further enhance their image in terms of positioning. And that in many ways translates into sales. So every marketing manager understands, issue of sponsorship, because it's very important to be able to sell a certain product to some targeted audience because of the area of importance it offers to you as a brand. But that said, it is also clear that every company has a policy. Because if you are a company and you don't have a policy, then that company cannot survive the test of time, because that policy helps you reach certain goals you set for yourself and is able to distinct you from a certain, competition in the market, and gives you an opportunity to also reach a wider audience. Okay. So it is true that some companies will say they do not associate with gospel events or religious events, and the religious is not only gospel.
Okay,
it's scattered, all religions, because of maybe some case studies in the past and other things.
Okay,
so they are also right, business wise. It makes sense for them to also try to protect themselves, but not sponsoring corporate religious event does not mean those people in that space do not patronize their product. So this is where the event organizers can also, find a way, not necessarily making them a headline sponsor, but find a way to have a certain arrangement for them to be able to rake in some money. So it shouldn't always be about a headline sponsor. There could be some level of arrangement to be able to still get something you need for them also to be able to, make some sales at the event. So if you look at all of these nuances, it's like buffering and bridging. Somebody's trying to protect itself. Somebody's also trying to reach out. Okay. So the gospel people are trying to reach out, and some of the companies are also trying to protect themselves. That aside all of these things, there are some companies who are offering some level of sponsorship to the gospel music. You understand? Even though it is not rampant, some are offering. So if these people go through some experiences, it will be very difficult for them to, come back again. Because if you look at purchase behavior, the last part, which is very crucial, post-purchase after you buy the product. That is one of the crucial aspects. Will you buy it again? Will you recommend it to somebody again? What will you do? So if somebody comes to sponsor, like DJ Slim come to sponsor, and today somebody has come to Kwame Dazi to come and also sponsor a similar event you've sponsored. Some of them can even come to you because you took the lead to come and ask you how that space is. So whatever feedback you give to Kwame Dazi, will be very crucial for Kwame Dazi to decide to come into that space. So, I mean, the kind of arrangement they go through with some of these corporate institutions and the aftermath is very important, because if care is not taken, it may ruin other gospel events, their chances of being able to get sponsorship.
Okay.
Also, we also need to, have discussions and conversation like this. Like somebody, a huge brand like Ohemaa Mercy, putting that out as form of activism, because this narrative has been there. We don't do religious, we don't do this. So those in the industry need to keep drumming home. The sponsorship opportunities and some of the things people can leverage, brands can leverage from them to be able to shape the narrative. You understand? So if we keep having conversation like this, 4 or 5 years to come, I think some of these myths and other things surrounding gospel event not getting sponsors can be broken. So I am happy that, most of them keep voicing out. Joe Metal and other people keep voicing out. So we need to be able to, put it forward to the corporate institution that, it's not what you see when you are standing back. That the benefit in which you get sponsoring religious events outweighs, what you think will harm your brand. So do business with us. Come with us. And it will also be good on the professional level that it's not always that it has to be the team preparing the, sponsorship pitches and other things. They can seek the services of third parties, professionals. Well, we have professionals who do that, who can be able to pitch compelling, put compelling pitches to some of these companies to come on board. At the end of the day, with them coming on board, we will have a very, interesting industry. That's a good conversation.
That's Mr. Edem Chotome speaking as a sympathizer of the gospel space and also manager of Empress Gifty. We acknowledge your input this morning. Thank you so much, manager of Empress Gifty. Kwame Dazi.
There is more work to be done for the gospel people. I think some of them have started opening up their business acumen. People like Joe Metal, a few others. So even when you look at their management, there are people who have marketing backgrounds and all that. Comes back to my earlier point that it's about time they saw themselves as business entities so they can attract business entities. If they don't do that, they will keep coming back every time to say we are struggling to get sponsorship, because nobody would want to invest in something that they wouldn't get returns from. Now, we're talking about the companies also realizing the potential that gospel people have. Now that, okay, so if they don't do that, what do the gospel people do? What are they doing to attract those from the other side? Comes back to what Edem said right now. Edem is also hammering on the point that they need to expand the marketing, the business side of what they are doing. You can't always go out there and create the impression that as for in India, stop drumming home that ideology, that orientation. It prevents people from investing. Because at the end of the day, apart from the fact that you are doing ministry and you want to change people's lives with Christ, you also need money. Man, don't create the impression that you just want to break even. If you get more profit, you they like.
But
You
that
dey
is-
like.
So that is exactly what I want. I asked Nino. That
Into the year,
if what will happen if they slap the business tag
yeah,
on it?
we are doing gospel business.
What will happen?
Gospel business. Kingdom
They're
business.
saying that all the time.
How many of them do that?
No, they say kingdom business.
Welcome,
How many of
Mr.
them
Robert
do,
Clark.
how many of them do
Thank
that?
you, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I know you're also part of them. So that's why you are. I'm the only Satan here, and I understand.
No, but you see,
Nobody's-
funny that
nobody's
you
calling
are
you.
giving
They are,
yourself
they
a
are
label because of
satanizing me right now. I don't
It's funny that
understand.
you are giving yourself a wrong label because of arguments.
Why are you doing that?
You can make your submission without giving yourself a funny label. So please take
You
it back.
people are doing
take
that.
it back.
Okay, I'm a Christian. I'm a man of God. I mean, I am a-
now let's continue the conversation.
okay. So before I end my submission, I want to pray for them. Shall we bow down our eyes, our heads in prayer?
Your eyes.
Kwame, let's be
Lord
serious.
Jesus, I commit unto thy care this morning our gospel fraternity.
Let's go.
They become very, very lazy in activating their marketing acumen. But they keep complaining about not getting sponsorship. I pray this morning that you fill them with the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Move them. Jesus. Shake Ninoy for me. Jesus. Let them realize that to attract the corporate entities to sponsor them, they need to be business oriented.
Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
We have closed. Can we go?
No. Let me. But I think you said something quite similar to what Robert was saying when he
Yeah.
joined us on the phone. That they need to also re-engineer their process and look at themselves as a player in a business rather than single out the ministry and then look at the industry from another. They need to see themselves as a player in the business and then
Which
act-
people?
The gospel.
Yes.
the gospel
He was on
fraternity.
point. He was on point.
Yes,
was
but
on
Robert
point.
is here. Let me not take
Nino wasn't
the
on point,
words.
but
Let me
Robert is
not
on
take the
point.
words from the horse's own mouth. With that being said, Robert is
Robert's
not.
not a horse.
It's not a horse.
He's an elephant.
Robert,
Be careful.
as we wrap up, what do you have to say to this?
No, I think that
You said you were elephant in this season.
no, he's
Nino is a massa. What is this business thing? Plenty. Yeah. What will happen? I mean, what will happen if businesses or if the church? Let me start from the church before I look at gospel events. If the church officially comes out to say that yes, as much as we want to propagate the good works of our Maker and drive people to salvation, we are also a business unit. What will happen if that tag is put on
I think
the
what,
church?
They
what-
won't-
what
they won't
speak-
go to heaven
What,
if
what
they do
they-
that.
what they are
They won't
saying
go to
is
heaven.
what they usually say is the focus is not. The focus is the fact that we're saying they are not for profit. I think if you say business and it means for profit,
Okay.
then that is where they have issues with, because there are several organizations that are not for profit. They are business organizations, but not necessarily for profit.
For profit.
You understand? So, because when you are for profit, everybody knows what that means. You know, you go hard at it. You're looking at your bottom line, you know, back and forth and stuff like that. If you are not for profit, you may be a social enterprise, and your focus is to be able to impact people socially positive. But ultimately, you always consistently have to focus on sustainability. How do you ensure that the business is sustained consistently? You know, because there are bills to pay. So how do you ensure that what's going out, you also have what's coming in? And for you to have some form of reserves to ensure that in the lean season, you still have something going on. And in that particular case, you may have donors, you may have sponsors, you may have, whatsoever. And these are all people who are feeding your project or your cause, and you constantly, project it. So I think that we should call what is. Let's not slap a name on them if that is not what they are. But the implications of what they are should be made clear. So they are in the industry. They are not for profit. They are for ministry. It's more or less like social enterprise to a certain extent. But they are not. They should not be about loss, because if they are about loss, then it cannot become sustainable.
If you're not in for profit,
Okay, so
what are you in for?
You are not in for profit, but you can be in for impact. But you have to be sustainable.
Then you don't complain if you don't get.
No, you can complain because you are not able to do the impact that you are interested in doing.
Okay, so now the case.
there's
So now
nothing wrong with
the issue with what Kwame Dazi is saying.
They
Kwame,
don't get me, but you get me.
No, I do
get
understand.
you.
You get me.
I
I
get
know
you.
you will get me. They will not get me. But you
No,
you
I
claim you
get
will get
but
me.
all I'm saying is that your labels. That's
So,
all.
so Robert is saying that let's not add labels.
Labels
'cause
to it.
If we add labels, we might box them in a field that they are not in,
Okay.
or we might put them in a field that they are not in. But anyway, Nino
No,
wants to clarify
you
something.
can't eat your cake and have it.
You can't have your cake and eat it.
You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't eat your cake and eat it.
That double eating is not allowed. Nino is here on the line again. Wants to clarify something. Nino,
DJ,
Bozu,
I don't know why you people want to take this conversation to business. And I'm happy Robert is now in the studio to explain to you people well. Kwame, that's the whole PK. You are there and you are spoiling this whole conversation. Instead of you to see, if you are going out for fun, it doesn't mean we are going for business. Like Robert said, you go, like I made a great example when I called earlier on. NGO also go out for funds. Are they into profits? No. But they go out for funds to buy things for impact. And that is what these funds that we go out for is used for. You understand? So it is not a business venture. It's like a social venture, like Robert said. We are going out for funds to execute the ministry aspect of the work.
fantastic clarification. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But then do you also understand
Kwame,
the point where Kwame Dazi is also coming from?
Business.
Do you also understand the point where Kwame Dazi is coming from?
What point
He
is he coming
is saying
from?
that
That's
so
about that.
if you are not being labeled right, the right people with financial muscle to help you in that quest might not see you as a profit-making business with or somebody worth investing in. Let me just put it that way.
I didn't get that point.
Okay, so Kwame Dazi is saying that if you don't have the right label, or if you don't if you don't have that business approach, people with money would not see you. That is what he's trying to say. Do you agree?
But Kwame Dazi, in his own submission, said rightly that artists like Joe Metal have structures that have all these things under. How did he know? See, churches even have structures that have PR entities. They have admin. They have finance entities. They have all these structures. But are they in for business? No, for social impact. So the artists I work with, the artists them in the studio works with, they have all these structures. They have marketing, sponsorship, they have production. They have all these people under their structure. But they are not in for business. They are in to make that impact that we want at the end of the day be achieved. So all these structures are there. That is why it's unfortunate that he said in that prayer that we should do it. I mean, all of these artists, those who don't have, like Sonny Badu, when he came to Ghana to do his concert last year, he contracted George Quay's company to do everything for him. Because probably he didn't have all these structures under him. So he'll go for a third-party person to help, execute some of these things. When Kingdom World Tour was coming, they contracted a company to do it. So a lot of these artists have these structures. And those who don't have, outsource some of these things. So they have these things. The conversation should be, where are the challenges? How do we resolve these challenges? The conversation shouldn't be, is it business? Is it not business?
No. Nino, I beg. Then you are not being fair this morning. No, we are not destroying the conversation. We are not destroying. No, we are not destroying the conversation. We were looking for reasons why. We started by building a conversation, looking for the reasons why these things are popping up from some of our major artists. We stated some. We are finding ways of solving it, and you are saying that we are destroying the conversation. What are you doing, Nino?
You've not see. Kwame Dazi is just like that's what I'm saying. I'm happy Robert came into the studio.
We are all happy Robert is here. We are all happy to see him.
All this while, Kwame Dazi wanted to make it look like because they go for interviews and they say they are not into business. That is why companies are not looking.
But don't you think it's a perception out there? Don't you think so? And this perception is reality in this business.
And it is not a challenge. It's not one of the reasons. It's never been one of the reasons. So
but do you give sponsorships?
Look at the challenge.
No, Nino. No, he's saying that it's not the case. And I'm saying, does he give sponsorship to a gospel event? Because you are not on the giving end. You are on the receiving end. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so then if we are saying Kwame is also not on the giving end. Yeah,
Kwame is also on the giving end.
I am bloody.
See, and you see, it will interest you to know that I'm on both ends because I work with corporate.
Okay.
And I'm on both ends. So I can tell you some of the challenges. So I'm on both ends, and I can help you understand from both ends. But you see,
okay, so help me with this. Help me with this. Don't you think when there is a perception around a specific space, it can attract sponsors or repel sponsors?
God bless you. When it's a perception, the perception can help you get sponsors or not help you get sponsors. But however, the perception around all these gospel artists are very positive. In fact, most of the ones that you people even probably think that are not positive are helping, are attracting sponsors. Like I mentioned earlier on, Dinah has gotten a week an enterprise. When we did the stadium concert, at the last minute, we got some sponsors. We got these people come on board, Secure Part, we got Mortar Guinness, and some others come on board. So right now, the question is that why are the others not getting? These are some of the conversations we need to be having. And these are some of the conversations to look at what are the challenges and how do we help solve those challenges. So perception here is the greatest. In fact, perception defines brands. Perception defines corporate images. So perception here is very important.
Great.
But the perception of whether it's a business or not, everybody knows that when you are doing gospel, it's for ministry impact. So that is the perception.
Okay. Nino, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. We're hard pressed with our time. And then next time we'll have to get you into the studio to avoid calling in and out. So that thanks a lot for joining us. I have this one. Onya joins me, a good friend of mine. He's Celebrities Besties PA. Yes. He's saying, good morning, Onya. Wow, great conversation. Just want to big up a couple of companies that have been supporting the gospel fraternity. Delta Company, producers of floral tissue, Top Choco, Scene, Beyond Gospel Music, and supporting brands like Joyce Blessing and PCA Esther. Ohemaa Mercy, do you have a brand that you're working with or you don't?
Oh, I mean, we've worked with different brands.
You mean Empress?
Empress.
And we are grateful to, them for the Day Classic and all of these companies. We are really, really, appreciative of what they've done for us over the years. And we know that going forward, a lot of these companies will come on board. And conversations like this are good because it's like a wake-up call and has the tendency to also, spark people up to do the right thing, to be able to attract the right amount of sponsors for all their events. And I know, definitely, there will be a change.
Okay, thanks a lot for joining us, Adam. And I think most of the sponsors this morning will be saying, if they give you sponsorship today, so what sponsorship will they give you to tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
So we don't have to give you.
You have to reserve some.
Yeah, I have to reserve some. So that we'll give you some tomorrow.
I don't understand.
Why do you want us to give you all the sponsorship today? So what will we give to you tomorrow? What?
Even this topic, right? If we left some for tomorrow,
yes. If we discuss all the topics today,
which one are we discussing tomorrow?
Why are you coming from? I don't know.
We are coming from Nino's house.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Kwame Dazi.
This is Hitz.